What's going on, guys? Bust6 here, back to another video, and today I have an album review for you guys. My first album of 2024, and man oh man do I have an album for you guys to review. I'm going over the newest studio offering from Saxon, Hell, Fire, and Damnation. This album comes out on the 19th of January 2024. This is their 24th studio album. If you want to be more precise, it's more their 23rd album because of their covers album. But yeah, 23/24 albums this band has recorded. That is mind-blowing to the highest degree, in a way. This band did form in technically 1980, but they were under a different name at the time. They were known as Blue Condition, and then they went by the appropriate name of Son of a Bitch, basically pulling a thing from Motorhead, and then they changed their name to Saxon. I mean, what can I say about this band that hasn't really been said already, or, you know, what can I say about it? They actually formed in 75 in Barnsley, and that is in somewhere into Marktown near South Yorkshire of England. So yeah, again, 23 albums this band has recorded. It's absolutely insane, to say the least. And this band, in my opinion, one of the most underrated metal acts of all time, and I would say one of the best out of the new wave of British heavy metal act, considering that you have your Iron Maidens, and they kind of helped, I guess, more popularize the movement. Judas Priest, Angel Witch, Avenger, so many other bands from the new wave British heavy metal act. This Saxon may have been the best out of all of them. And with this new album, well, I'll get to that here in a minute. So I did review their album beforehand, Carpe Diem, and I absolutely love that album in its entirety. This album is a little bit different in terms of the themes that it has going on for it. And what I mean by that is, this is basically more historical in a way. Like, they went more historical events when it comes to this album. Now, they have talked about historical events in the past on their other albums, but they never went full-fledged until this album has dropped. And my goodness, I am just in shock at just how amazing this album is. From the opening track, the opening instrumental of The Prophecy, that leads right into the title track. It's like a really nice lead-in into it as well. And the title track kind of talks about, I wouldn't say it talks about Satanism, but it talks about the battle of good and evil, basically heaven and hell. And I really dig that. And Biff Byford is still doing great on vocals. The Glock, Nigel Glockler, is still killing on drums. Who else was Doug Scarrett and Brian Tatler, who I think just joined the band not that long ago, actually. They're doing great on guitars, and Nibs Carter is still crushing it on bass as well. And actually, you get some guest spots on this album. Paul Quinn, he used to be with the band for a long time. He actually appeared on the tracks Fire and Steel and Supercharger. Those songs are more token Saxon, where, you know, crunchy riffs, catchy melodies, really nice grooves. It's pure, unadulterated Saxon when it comes to those songs in particular. But those songs don't really talk about historical events in a way. The other songs really do. The third track, Madame Guillotine, it talks about, well, Mary Antoinette and the decapitation of her, essentially. And the way that they compose the lyrics are really damn intriguing. Like, again, I will say, musically, this thing is full on Saxon, but lyrically, this is one of their most ambitious albums I would say they've ever released, and I fairly enjoy it. Now, the other track that really caught my attention was the second single, There's Something in Roswell, where it talks about the Roswell incident in 1947. So what happened is that in New Mexico in 47, there was a farmer that noticed a quote-unquote air balloon crashed onto his farm or onto his ranch, when in reality, it looked like an alien invasion. It looked like a UFO, and they really looked into it, and no one really knew anything about it except for the farmers of Roswell. And I say that is one of the most intriguing songs on the entire album. The chorus is catchy, the grooves are amazing, the riffs are crunchy as all hell. Absolutely great stuff all around. Then you get to the sixth track, Kubla Khan and the Merchant of Venice. Talks about, well, Kublai Khan and the land of Xanadu, essentially. And it's really damn well, and talks mainly about, you know, the Mughal Empire and how Kublai Khan was this big dictator, and talks about, like, basically, you know, the land of Xanadu, essentially. It's really damn good. And then you get to Pirates of the Airways, where it talks about mainly what music was then versus music now, essentially, where back in the days, it was mainly about, you know, like, you know, either 80s pop or, you know, hard rock and heavy metal. Nowadays, it's like rap and, you know, alternative and, you know, all these other radio stations, all these other radio subgenres. I mean, hell, even one of the lyrics says radio KSHE, and, you know, that's really interesting to say the least. Like, it talks about basically a teenage boy is listening to the radio and all he wants to hear is Rolling Stones, but he has to turn so many dials to get where he's at, and I really dig that. And then we get to yet another interesting track, 1066, which that song talks about, well, it talks about the Vikings and the Saxons, basically. Talks about the two ancient tribes and the conqueror triumph, essentially. The Vikings and King Harold, and it's absolutely fascinating. It talks about this year in particular, and, you know, it talks about the Battle of Hastings, basically, of the Normans gaining control over England. And again, the song, absolutely amazing. It's more mid-tempo in a way, but it still has that really good crunch that Saxon has always used to bring to the table. And then you get to Witches of Salem, which talks about the Salem witch trials. And as someone who has read the book and have seen the movie, this is one of my personal favorite tracks on the entire album. I really love the kind of like womanly scream intros, where it sounds like a witch is burning, and that's basically what it is, and it's absolutely spectacular. And just Byford's vocals, he just sounds a little more, I wouldn't say feral. His voice just sounds a little more aggressive, but you can hear that his voice is starting to age just a hair bit, but he still sounds absolutely phenomenal on this album. And this dude, I think, is in his 70s, and he's still cranking out stuff like this. Absolutely top-notch all around. And Fire and Steel, that song in particular, I love that drum intro. Just, Nigel just owns it on the kit. He is beating the hell out of those skins. And it kind of reminds me of, they played Rock and Roll off of Thunderbolt, which was a tribute to Lemmy and Motorhead, the original three-piece with Lemmy, Phil Taylor, and Fast Eddie Clarke. It really reminds me of that. And Supercharger, that is just a classic ending to a Saxon album, at least in the modern output. And yeah, the songs themselves, absolutely amazing. It's packed a ton full of groove. When it goes fast-paced, it goes fast-paced, but it doesn't it doesn't lose that, it doesn't go directionless. It's all focused, and that's why I really love this album. It's focused, it's jammed full of really good tunes, and I would say this beats Carpe Diem, and I love Carpe Diem. I think this is a better album, in my opinion. So, all in all, I'm going to give this, you know what, screw it. I'm giving this an A+. I love this album. This is, I think, one of their best. And I don't know how, but this band somehow manages to top themselves in every sense of the word. I don't understand how it happens, but it happens. So, all in all, I'm giving this an A+. I love this album, and I think it's one of their best. So, folks, this was also released on Silver Lining Music. I knew I forgot to mention that, so I do gratefully apologize for that. And I do apologize for my voice. I apologize for my voice, weather allergies, or I wouldn't say weather allergies, just battling congestion, and that's all basically. So, folks, what did you guys think about Saxon's, Carpe Diem, Saxon's Hellfire and Damnation? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big red subscribe button, tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.